I made a bunch of predictions at the beginning of the year. We're gonna look back. Am I hitting on them or am I missing on them? Prepare to get blown away. So first up, we have biggest surprises so far in the season. Looking back at the first half, we have Pete Crow Armstrong. He is an all-star, hitting 265, 25 home runs and 71 RBIs, which is astronomically above his career averages so far. A little shout out to Chris Flexen, a guy who was back against the ropes, really just trying to find a job and has been really effective out of the bullpen for the Cubs. Now, he is greatly overperforming a lot of his peripheral stats. I hope he continues to work within that area, at least for the whole year. You want to get through a whole year. But he has a 1.47 and a .93 whip, a bright spot for their bullpen. And a little bit of love for Ramon Laureano. He has been one of the few bright spots over there this year, hitting 284 with 11 home runs, 35 RBIs, and it was a little bit of like a throwaway signing for them, and he's been very good. And he plays hard, he's got energy, I can attest to that. It's good to see him doing well. The biggest disappointments, guys who are notoriously so good and they just haven't been, Mookie Betts and the San Francisco Giants version of Rafael Devers. Mookie Betts is hitting 244 with 11 home runs and 45 RBIs, which hilariously is a little bit better than Laureano, but like, those aren't Mookie Betts numbers. That's just pretty good. More lackluster than I've really ever seen from Mookie, so it's interesting to see what he'll do in the second half, but he's been around for a while, man. That's what happens. And for Rafi, 25 games with the Giants, he's hitting 202 with 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, and a 656 OPS. Hasn't quite found his footing there. Probably not the greatest look to not come out super hot. So let me know again in the comments, who are your biggest disappointments? Who are your biggest surprises? Because I'm sure there's a lot of guys I'm missing. All right, let's go. Who did I guess awards winners would be at the end of the year? And if the season ended right now, who I think they would be. For AL Rookie of the Year, my first guess was Christian Campbell, who has recently been sent down to AAA, with Jackson Jobe, who has been hurt. It's not out on these two guys, but they've just been, they've had their struggles and they haven't been as electric as I thought they would be. And right now, my AL Rookie of the Year is Jacob Wilson, all-star, never walks, never strikes out. Looks like he's playing wiffle ball, but he's having a good time, and the guy can hit, man. In the NL, I thought we were gonna have Hiroki Sasaki followed by Bubba Chandler. Now, this one was a big whiff. Roki has struggled at the beginning of his career, and now he is hurt potentially for the rest of the year. Bubba Chandler has yet to make his big league debut. I don't think I'm going to be right about those two.
Over here you miss. On this side you miss.
But in the NL, who would I give it to? Gumby, the Miz, Jacob Mizrachi. If he keeps going the way he's going, say he stays healthy for the rest of the year, they're just going to give it to him. But he needs to throw 15 starts the second half. Hopefully he does, and hopefully that's what we get. AL Reliever of the Year, my guess was Mason Miller, though he has been very good, and he's striking out about 17 per 9. The ERA is greatly inflated. He's had 2 season killers. Like, he's given up 9 runs in 2 innings, which that'll kill you as a closer. And he also has to pitch in Sacramento, which is not fair. If I had to guess, it would likely be Andres Munoz. I think there's a bunch of other guys that can be considered for this, like Josh Hader, but he's up there in saves. He might lead in saves, actually, and he is probably my guy. On the NL side, I guessed Justin Martinez. Justin Martinez has been hurt for a lot of time. I think he's got a bright future, but he just hasn't been healthy, thrown enough, and it's just not him. I would say probably, and again, the NL's got a ton of guys that are right in this area, healthily, whatever, but for me, it's Edwin Diaz, man. He's having a season pretty close to 2022, and I think he's going a little bit under the radar. He's got a 1.5 ERA. He's saving all the games. He's throwing really, really well. He's having a good time, and he was made another All-Star. But I would say a guy who deserves some flowers and isn't a closer is the setup man for the Giants. One of the setup men, anyways, Randy Rodriguez. This guy's filthy. And if you don't know about Randy Rodriguez, go look it up. He's been good for a while. Honorable mention to Randy Rodriguez. He is in the running. Now let's talk about Cy Young's. AL. I had Cole Ragans because it was different. I thought he was going to take one more step forward. He's been solid like he is, but hasn't really turned into the crazy ace. And unfortunately, Tarek Skubal has been better than he was last year somehow. So I think this year is Tarek Skubal. I was close, finally, on something. He's been absolutely redonk. In the NL side, my guess, Paul Skeens and Hunter Green. Now, before Hunter Green got hurt, dude, he might have been ahead of Paul. If he weren't hurt, I would say these guys would still be top 5. I think Skeens is very, very close. I think it's like 1A and 1B, but I got to give some flowers to a guy who hasn't won one and probably should have won one by now. Zach Wheeler. He's got just an edge on everything with Paul Skeens a little bit. He's thrown more innings somehow. He struck out more guys. He's given up less hits somehow. The year that Skeens is having is credible. Zach Wheeler's been a little bit better for a team that's better. I will give the edge to him, and honestly, he hasn't won one yet. And Skeens is going to win. If he continues to be this good for 10 years, he's going to win like 7. I think we need to give Zach Wheeler his look. It's anyone's game at this point. Now, real quickly, let's hit the MVPs. AL MVP, my guess was Bobby Witt Jr. He's been solid, not MVP. Sorry, Mariners fan, and sorry for the writers got over in the writers' room, guys, but I changed my mind. It's Aaron Judge. I just don't know how you don't give it to him. He's just too good. Batting average is still 100 points. Like if his batting average were 60 points above number 2, it'd be better. But honorable mention, obviously, right behind him, Cal Raleigh. If it ends up 330 and 285, now we're cooking. And also, Cal Raleigh has the most important stat between these two guys, more stolen bases. And then in the NL, my MVP, guess, was gonna be Juan Soto. Now, he is back into that top 10 conversation, even though he didn't make the All-Star team. He's been very, very, very good lately. Actually insane. He's been the best hitter in the league for last month. But now, it's Shohei Ohtani. God, that picture's so tough. He's just the best hitter in the league. He's also pitching whenever he wants. Okay, and then finally, we have the playoffs. We have the seeding. This is what my guesses were playoff seeding before. Rangers, Red Sox, Guardians, Orioles, Tigers, and Astros. And on the other side, Dodgers, Phillies, Brewers, Mets, D-backs, and Braves.
You're one of the worst singers I've ever heard in my life.
Now, I got 7 of the 12 right, which I don't know if that's great. I think that's just average. But right now, this is what it'd be if the season ended right now. Dodgers, Cubs, Phillies, Brewers, weird. They're sneaking again. Mets and Padres and Detroit, Houston, Toronto, New York, Boston, and Seattle on the other side. This is how I had the playoffs. Phillies versus Boston. And I ended up having the Phillies winning the whole thing, even though they're not showing up here for some reason. But I have amended my stance because if I were to guess, based on the people I just showed you, who would come out on top of that bracket right now with how everyone is playing, I think the Cubs would end up taking down the Boston Red Sox, who are on a 10-game heater going in the playoffs. That would be a great spot. So I'm talking about the Boston Red Sox being the hottest team on the planet and the Cubs just being a solid team. I think at the end they would end, but I think the Cubs took it for the first time since 2016. I know, hot take. That's just my guess now. I'm amending it from there. So you can yell at me all you want. I can't wait to hear what you guys all think of these. My 10 bold predictions I made at the beginning of the year. We're gonna look at the prediction and I'm gonna tell you, as of right now, are we on track or are we nowhere close? And then one of them was like the MVP of the World Series, and that there's no way to guess that as of right now. So I got that one out. So this is 9 bold predictions. First bold prediction, no AL team will win 92 plus games. That's a big wrong. There are currently 3 teams on track for 92 plus. The Tigers, Astros, and Blue Jays. 0 for 1. Surprise. Who would have thunk it? Number 2, overperformer of the year. Tommy Pham was going to be huge for the Pirates. I had high hopes for the Pirates not being the Pirates anymore. Unfortunately, they're still the Pirates. I would say that's probably a miss too. Right now, Tommy Pham is hitting .250 with a .667 OPS. He's got 4 home runs and a .8 B-WAR. It's fine, or he's about an average player. So he's not hurting the team, but he hasn't really been the huge impact that I thought he'd be. So now we're 0 for 2. Number 3, I thought a guy who would probably come out slower out of the blocks for his contract. Now, let me be very clear. And I made this point then. I think Willy Adames was a good sign. I think he's a great defensive shortstop. And I believe that he is he's going to be part of that team for a long time. But do I think he's like a star? Probably not. And that has mostly been true. Willy Adames has underperformed a little bit from the amount of money he's being paid. He's hitting .221. He's got a .682 OPS right now. And right now a 0.9 B-WAR. And he's a good defensive player. So he's been solid. And he's one of the higher paid guys on the team. So slightly underperforming. Maybe not the most egregious underperformer in the league, but I'd say underperforming enough for me to be right. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? Stolen base leader. I chose Elly De La Cruz. And we're going to go with a positive because he's currently tied in 3rd. And he's only 4 back. He's very close. He's top 3. He could do that in 2 games. I think it's still pretty likely that Elly De La Cruz leads the league in stolen bases, or it's possible. So I'm going to give myself a check mark on that. But is he going to lead in caught stealing? So my whole point was I thought he would run the most. And has he been caught a lot? No, he's actually 12th in the league in caught stealing. So he's got a pretty good track record right now. He's not making as many mistakes as he did last year. Hats off to Elly De La Cruz. What team did I think would have the longest win streak? I guess the Cleveland Guardians at 10 games, because suddenly they just seem to do that stuff. But it turns out they actually have a 10-game losing streak. It was actually the Twins and the Red Sox have both done 10. And someone, when I said this, someone was like, what about the Twins? The Twins always rattle them off, and the Twins rattled it off this year. Consider me chastised. Number 7, my non-closer of the year, Jeremiah Estrada. Basically, I'm looking for guys who could be a closer, aren't a closer. Right now, though, he's at 2.93 ERA, 1.14 whip, and 60 Ks in 43 innings. I believe he has got like 11 holds or something. So he's been very good. He's a very good reliever. But that is by no means the best reliever. There's actually a guy on his team that would deserve it more. That's Adrian Morejon. There's like probably 10 guys in front of him that are not closers, but he is very good. Who's going to lead the league in RBIs? My guess was Pete Alonso. He's in 4th by himself. He's only 5 behind. Again, that's 1 game. So I think Pete Alonso has a legit chance, especially as Soto continues to rake, to end up pulling that off and leading the league. And then finally, I said 10 plus pitchers will throw 200 plus innings. And this was a bold one. I was like, there's no way. No one might get 200. But surprisingly, even though this is a no, there are 8 players. There's 8 pitchers currently on pace for 100 if they continue to do exactly the same rate they are. That was a surprise. I was like, there's gonna be like 3. But there's 8, so it's not 10, but it is more than I thought. So who would have thought? And those are my bold predictions. Not a lot of corrects. Just goes to show you, baseball predictions are a crapshoot. Let me know in the comments why I'm the worst.